Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new shooter called Ironsight. This is a free-to-play competitive shooter. It's currently in beta. Check out the link in the video description to go to the website and sign up for an account. Those of you who sign up with the link also have a chance of winning one of 5 Ironsight General Founders Packs, each which are valued at $99. I'd like to thank Ironsight for sponsoring this video. Now, upon loading up Ironsight for the first time, you are given a cool little synopsis of the story. Basically, it's the year 2025, pseudo-futuristic. You have a lot of similar weapons that you would find in any modern military shooter, and you are either fighting for the US coalition or a Russian company called Eden. And so basically, these are modern mercenaries fighting for territory in the Middle East in a futuristic energy war. And despite the fact that multiplayer shooters don't always really need a backstory in order for them to be fun or enjoyable, I do appreciate that this one has an interesting backstory that I think is not only believable, but sets up the game for having a cool art design and premise for the maps and weapons. Now, upon joining a multiplayer game for the first time, you will be met with a lot of familiar game modes that you should be able to get right into if you played any popular first-person shooters. There's Team Deathmatch, Secure Point, Resource, Takeover, and Search and Destroy, plus a few PvE modes. The modes are definitely easy to learn, but when going up against a good team, you're going to need all your skill and wit about you in order to win these game modes. Now, personally, my favorite game mode was Search and Destroy, which is basically a bomb defusal game mode. It's also the mode that they use for the competitive matchmaking, and I think it's absolutely excellent. The maps are well laid out, the gunplay is enjoyable, and the kill streaks make sense based on how many points you can actually get in Search and Destroy. And so the value of the kill streaks that you're able to actually bring into this game mode make a bit more sense compared to, say, TDM. Now, Ironsight runs on its own game engine built from the ground up called the Iron Engine, and the graphics are clean and good, but more importantly, the game also runs at a very high frame rate. You can see my frame counter in the upper left corner. My graphics are pretty much mostly on high settings there. I've turned off things like anti-aliasing, but I'm playing at 1440p resolution, and the fact that I'm able to max out my refresh rate on this monitor is a real treat. It looks smooth, buttery smooth the whole time through, and that's just nice, not having to think about my frame rate or the game's beta performance or having to sacrifice visual quality for frame rates. I know that the game is going to run well even on high settings. Now let's try and answer that question that everybody's going to have about a free-to-play title. Is it going to be pay to win? Is there going to be some sort of microtransaction economy system that's going to prevent you from getting the best guns or the really good items that only paying players are going to have access to? And I have to say that after playing the game, I didn't find any of the weapons out of reach with the in-game currency. There's a lot of cosmetic items that might have been out of reach, or some cosmetic items that are only purchasable with actual money versus in-game currency. But in terms of balance and weapons that you would want to modify or upgrade, you can do it all with in-game currency in a relatively reasonable amount of time. In fact, I found that while I was playing, I was doing well enough and earning enough money that I could actually spend a lot of extra cash on cosmetic items and upgrades instead of just working purely on weapon upgrades and stuff like that. Now, many of the weapon upgrades unlock naturally when you rank up a weapon to a certain tier. So you can unlock new optics, laser sights, different barrels and stuff like that, and that can all be earned in-game with in-game currency relatively easily. Now, acquiring all the weapons and all the weapon attachments will take you a long time, as it would in any sort of modern AAA shooter as well. I like the progression system in this game. It's deep, there's a huge amount of attachments for each gun, a huge amount of cosmetic upgrades for weapons, optics, armor, helmets, boots, gloves, all that kind of stuff. There's a huge variety of stuff to unlock and earn in the game. I love deep and engaging progression systems, and it seems like they've really made it so that the only stuff locked behind an actual monetary paywall is cosmetic only. So to answer that question to the best of my abilities, no, this is not a pay-to-win game. It is a proper model, the model that I think most free-to-play titles should be adopting, which is really cool-looking cosmetic items are the only things that seem to be restricted to the actual paying customers of the game. And on that same note, I gotta say that the art team has done an excellent job of making the high-end cosmetic items really desirable, things that I would want to pay money to get. Not only did the cool weapon skins make the guns look different, but they also come with different reload animations as well that adds a bit of visual flair. Now let's talk about the loadout system and the gunplay. Now the guns themselves are enjoyable. The first few rounds are relatively controllable out of most of the automatic weapons. There's gun attachments that can help you control your recoil a bit more, and there's also class perks that you can swap out to further help you control your recoil if you're having trouble with it. I would say once you're 10 rounds into most automatic weapon fire, the recoil does become considerably more difficult to control, and it does make it harder to hit targets at further ranges. SMGs also dish out a lot less damage at further ranges, but so do ARs. I felt like ranged combat with fully automatic weapons was a bit tricky, and I think that that was more by design to make some of the bolt action sniper rifles a bit more effective. Since there aren't any extremely long ranges of fire in this game mode, the bolt action rifles are reliant a lot on quick scoping, and I was running into a few players that were actually quite good at doing that in close to medium range combat. So if you enjoy the quick scoping mechanic, it is certainly possible in this game. Now upon death, you can switch between your predefined loadouts. So if you have an SMG build or an assault rifle build or a sniper build, you can switch between them during the rounds just to try something else out. And each loadout comes with multiple grenades. I think you get one lethal grenade and then one tactical grenade. Your secondary weapon can be something like an EMP rocket launcher, or it can even be a handgun or a shotgun or something like that. You then also have a melee weapon option and 3 class perks that can give you things like better stamina, faster running speed, better recoil control, faster aiming down sight time, that kind of thing, and you can switch out between them to sort of better customize your class. And then on top of that, you also have 3 different kill streaks, so you can go for a low score requirement kill streaks and get a bunch of cheap kill streaks, or go for high-end kill streaks and get really high-end robots that you can spawn in, or aerial vehicles that can shoot people from above. I like the kill streaks in this game. They certainly are not as annoying as some of the kill streaks can be in some of the COD games out there that just seem incredibly overpowered. Some of them can be annoying, but any of the really powerful kill streaks can also be taken down quite easily by anybody with like EMP weaponry. And even this giant robot mech that I'm using here is very limited on the amount of time that I can operate it, and it can also be taken down pretty darn quick. Drones seem to be the overarching theme of this game, calling in aerial drones or escort drones, as I have one here, which is a tiny little hovering drone that flies around with me and helps me shoot bad guys. It laser points them and also fires at them. So it's a really good way to try and get a little bit of extra firepower in your firefights. I actually really like this kill streak a lot. It's fun, and even after you die, the drone can get some kills for you. Again, it's very short-lived, so you got to make use of the time that it's available. And that's, again, one of the nice balancing factors of these kill streaks. They don't stick around for 30 or 40 seconds. They're in and out very quickly. Now, without question, it's pretty much impossible to look at this gameplay footage and not draw some parallels between the look and feel of this game and some of the other big AAA shooters out there. The amazing thing, though, is that generally when you play a free-to-play title, it feels like the poor man's version of a AAA game. This game does not, though. Ironsight is quality through and through. The art direction is top-notch, the gameplay is fun, and if I may say so, a bit more refined than many of the AAA shooters out there. It seems like it's analyzed the style of game that it is, and it knows how to hold back on some of the more annoying features that look great for trailers and marketing but end up creating bad gameplay. The gameplay feels much more refined and pure and like a true competitive shooter with a huge progression system that you can really sink your teeth into. Anyway, Ironsight is a free-to-play game. It's an open beta right now. You can try it out for yourself by clicking the link in the video description or going to IronsightGame.com. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for supporting my channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.